Good morning, guys. Start off by pausing this video and thinking about this question. So the correct answer here is C. Mass is the amount of matter an object has, and weight is the force exerted from gravity. That's just definitions from yesterday. Okay, so today is PS13. We're going to continue thinking about gravitational force and talk about how it varies between objects. Okay, so just a quick reminder, you don't have to write this one down. Gravity is the force of attraction between objects due to their mass. Isaac Newton is known for coming up with the theory behind gravity, and he thought about this both in terms of small objects that are close to Earth, like the apple is the classic example, and then also things that he could see in space. All right, go ahead and write down the law of universal gravitation. All objects in the universe attract each other through gravitational force. And this law depends on two things. You need to write that down as well: mass and distance. So mass, we don't need to write this one down. We talked about this yesterday. Gravity between objects increases as the masses of the objects increases. So that's a lot of jargon in that sentence. Let's talk a little bit more about that. When you have larger objects, they exert more gravitational force. So the Earth has much more gravitational force than my water bottle or my phone. That's because the Earth has a lot more mass than either of those things. So its gravity is greater. Get this down. This is notes for today. So this says that the force of gravity depends on the distance between two objects. So the first thing we talked about is it depends on the mass of the two objects. And then it also depends on the distance between the two objects. And this one is kind of the opposite. So if you have a greater distance, you actually have less gravity. And if you have less distance, you have greater gravity. You can think about this with, for example, the Earth and, let's say, a rock that's on the surface of the moon. So the Earth has a much greater mass than the moon. So we would think, if we're just thinking about mass, the rock should be attracted more to the Earth. However, because the rock is much closer to the moon, it's going to be attracted to the moon and not the Earth. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of examples because that'll make this easier to remember. So you're going to pause the video at each of the questions and answer, and then I'll go over each answer. So make sure you pause and think about it before you just hear my answer. All right, first one, pause. So the greater gravitational attraction is going to be between the chickens that are closer together. So 5 meters away is much shorter than 10 meters away. Gravity is greater when there's less distance. Pause. Okay, so now the distance is the same. We see 5 meters and 5 meters. So the distance is the same. The mass is what is different in these cases. So the 10 kilogram balls and the 20 kilogram balls, the larger or more massive objects will have more gravitational pull. So B is the correct answer in this case. Go ahead and pause. Okay, so all the monkeys are the same size in this case, so we're thinking about distance here. We have some monkeys that are further away and some monkeys that are closer. So again, gravitational attraction is greater when they are closer. So B is the correct answer. Go ahead and pause. Okay, so the distance is the same here and the mass is what is different. So in that case, the objects with more mass have more gravity. So B is the correct answer again. Go ahead and pause. All right, this one's easier because there's less reading. This is the larger object. It has a greater gravitational force. Go ahead and pause. Okay, and again, though the pictures are the same size, this is obviously a much larger cat. So A has the greater gravitational pull. And pause. Okay, so the larger building has the greater gravitational pull. I'm going to skip through a couple of these. Okay, let's just do one more of these distance ones because I want to make sure that's clear. Go ahead and pause the video here. And the correct answer here is the object that is 4,000 miles away. So let's say they're like 2 meteors in space, getting closer to Earth or hovering around Earth. If these two objects or the 2 meteors have the same mass, then the closer one will feel the greater gravitational force from Earth. So the object that is 4,000 miles away will have a greater gravitational force. Okay, that is it for today. You are going to fill out a Google form, and I'm going to set up a class time for tomorrow that I will put in the announcements. Hope you guys are doing well.